Hello, I'm Saffia Widdershins, and I'm here on the build for the Aether Chrononauts Tiny Steps team at Relay for Life weekend 2015. And I'm here to talk to the three builders who are Jenny Lynn Capalini, Kaydge Stratten, and Manfred Handcroft.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, it's great to see you all. Um, and can you tell me something, first of all, about your team? Because it's a rather unusual one, isn't it? With a rather unusual history.
Well, the Aether Chrononauts Tiny Steps team, or AXE as we like to call it for short, got started when the Tiny Steps team and the Aether Chrononauts team kind of had an overlapping of founding members, which, over a period of a couple of years resulted us deciding to combine the teams because separately, while we did okay, we were so much more capable when we combined to doing bigger and better things in Relay for Life of SL.
Now, forgive me for saying this, but you look neither particularly Aether Chrononautish or tiny.
Yeah, right now we're in our biggie costumes, as we like to think of it. But both Manfred, I'm Manfred, Kaydge and Jenny here, we usually spend quite a bit of time as tinies. So we're really more from the tiny side of the Aether Chrononauts team. But we have a lot of members, and a lot of them from the Steamlands in particular.
There's actually a tiny inside this biggie costume. It's a little rabbit.
And I'm a little bunny too, and we're very naughty when we're tiny, so we figure we put the biggie skin on, so we're not so naughty during the interview.
We'll seem a little bit.
Yeah, both Pet and I are familiar with tinies. She has tiny forms. Pet is our camera woman here, and of course I have a notorious dinky.
I've never met a dinky that wasn't notorious.
Well, yes, this is very true. So, tell me about this build. We are sitting in the most fantastic 1950s dining room. It's like a kind of 1950s vision of the future with all the domes around. Is that the concept behind it?
Yeah. The interesting thing about this build is that Manny and Jenny usually do these builds themselves. This year they came to me, and I feel very honored that they did and asked me to be involved. And we were talking about the topic, the future is now, and what that might mean. And all of us love the Googie style from the 1950s. So we thought, well, that's very futuristic, even though the topic is intended to talk about the future being now. What if the look and feel were based on the Googie style, if it had taken hold and continued as the style driven through to now? Things like Facebook and Twitter would be in this sort of 50s version, and with that look and feel of the Googie style. And so we thought it would be a lot of fun to have a hermetically sealed environment for safety from UV rays, and we could talk about a lot of good health and eating habits and exercise. So that's how we built the playground, and then it carried over to being able to create a full Googie style build, but as though it were modern times, and we kept that sort of stylistic view.
Exactly. You could look at it as sort of in the 50s, people were very optimistic about the future. They saw that things were going to be better. And of course, then, things happened and it didn't work out quite the way they had imagined. But if you try to imagine a world, exactly, what if it had? What if we had that technology and people, that's kind of our goal here with Relay for Life, is to try to find a cure for cancer, which is, one of the bigger problems we face is that disease.
And this is brilliant. Yes, I love the way you've kind of taken the 1950s forward. It's very unusual to sort of see that style now, but I love it, and it makes me think of kind of TV series and a 1950s
bit of an Ice Cream Genie kind of experience.
Yeah, Yeah, and the kind of American television that was just creeping over to the UK when I was very small. So you had this kind of fantastic vision of America.
We invited Donna Reed to come and serve us, but apparently she hasn't shown.
I think that's very disappointing. So the idea, of course, of the campsites is that they also reflect information about cancer. And have you done that as well with this build? I mean, you've talked about how UV rays will protect you, but I think you also give out information to people.
Yes, as you walk through the build, there are little kiosks and arrows that direct you sort of sinuously through it. And along the way, you'll see these little kiosks with information. And Jenny collected most of that information and created the signs for us, and did a wonderful job of making sure they all link to further information on the web. There's even a television that's working, and if you turn on your viewing for movies in SL, you'll actually be able to watch the television and see the cancer website, the American Cancer Society's website, with some very moving and motivational films.
So tell me about some of the things that Aether Chrononauts Tiny Steps, actually I'm going to call you Axe, which is your other name because that's quicker to say. Can you tell me some of the other things that Axe does through the year to raise funds through the season?
Well, we do a lot of different events. We sometimes do events at New Toulouse, which is a New Orleans simulation of New Orleans in the 1914, and I put on a little, well, I guess you could call it old-time radio that's not really old-time, where I play a lot of music that's modern, that's been done a 1920s-esque style.
Oh, lovely. I love that style, yeah.
We did the Time Travelers Ball. We had the World Ascot races. We've done belly dance events.
Oh, yeah, we've done quite a variety. Some of it's steampunky, some of it's just for fun, whatever we feel like doing, really.
I love the sound of the Ascot races. I've never been, but is it very Eliza Doolittle with people dressed in fantastic costumes?
Oh, everybody has fancy hats on and fancy outfits. It's fabulous.
So very much like the Kentucky Derby.
Right. Or, indeed, Royal Ascot over here.
Oh, yeah.
So, you're here at Relay Weekend, and I was wondering if I could ask you how you became involved in Relay in the first place, and why you relay. So, if I start with Jenny, perhaps you could tell us a bit about that.
Well, actually, I sort of fell into Relay in a weird way. When I first logged on, I found this club that my SL mom, who became my SL mom, like she adopted me from like day one, and I joined right before Relay Weekend. So she was like, "Come on, come help the team. You'll join the team." Like, okay. I didn't know anything about Relay at the time, but I got sucked right into it, and I've been doing it ever since. So this, I think, is my 8th year doing Relay. Been on a couple different teams in the past, but now we have the Aether Chrononauts Tiny Steps, and it's a great bunch of people. We have a lot of fun, and it's good to relay. It's a good cause what we do.
Yes,
to relay it, to help people. That's what it's about, to help people any way that we can.
Absolutely.
If it's okay, I'd like to follow up with saying that my introduction to Relay for Life was basically meeting Jen. We're actually married in real life, and if you listen very closely, you might hear an echo because we're sitting next to each other. But my entire reasoning for Relay originally was because it was something that Jen just did. And when we met in real life, it was a big part of what she was doing in Second Life. So, of course, I came along and, I got curious.
I dragged
about
him
it.
into it.
Yeah. I got curious about it, and I started doing research into the American Cancer Society. And I started really feeling that, as far as charities go, there's always charities. You can choose from hundreds of different causes. But what I really was attracted to it was that it spends so much time and energy towards research.
Yes.
And I'm very big believer in futurology, thus the build, the whole idea of where we can go with human society in the future. And I think that curing diseases that have claimed the lives of so many incredibly talented and skilled and intelligent people that further human society would really be a great boon to us as people.
Because we will find a cure one day.
Yeah.
And it's coming soon. I know it.
Oh, there are so many advances being made on a lot of different fronts at the moment that gives hope. Kaydge, what about you? How did you come to Relay?
My exposure to Relay for Life was as a spectator for the first few years that I was in SL, and I attended the relays, but I'd never been involved. This is the first year that I'd gotten involved to this extent, and it was because Manny and Jenny are such dear friends, and they came to me and asked if I wanted to help with the build this year, and I am honored to have done so. And it opened a brand new window for me in SL. I look at SL as a means of socializing and doing art and listening to great music I would otherwise not be exposed to. And this charity work is so meaningful to me because my father had prostate cancer and is a survivor, and one of my dear friends in SL that I've known for 8 years now, Brandy Maltus, is a survivor of cancer. So being involved in something like this and putting up luminaries for them and joining hands with people from all around the world in support of the people who are struggling with it and those who are supporting those struggling with it is a deep and abiding beauty, I think, that transcends the virtual. And it's certainly touched my heart, and I'm very thrilled and honored to have this as my first year supporting Relay to this extent.
And we're very thrilled to have you because honestly, our build would not have been this nice had it not been for your efforts. You've been a superlative teammate.
Well, it is a fantastic build.
With just a little touch of naughty thrown in.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to put in a little disclaimer. Should you need the loo at Relay, we apparently have the only one. Yeah. And if you visit it, you'll be able to get a little souvenir that attaches to your shoe.
Lots of fun.
I did notice under the table that there seemed to be something attached to people's shoes. Yes.
Yes, when you come here, you find relief.
I think that's a brilliant plan. Well, thank you very much for talking to me, and this is a wonderful build. We'll be showing some B-roll of it as well. We'll be showing more of it as well, so people can enjoy it. And thank you, and go Relay.
Thank you so much for having us. Go Relay.